This season, we watched the Kansas City Chiefs defense go on one of the best playoff runs in NFL history. They were also the youngest defense in the NFL. This season, the Chiefs held 20 opponents out of 21 under 25 points, marking it the most games for such in NFL history. The only team to score higher was the Packers with 27. The Packers took control over that whole entire game, except for the missed PI at the end of the game, if you want to talk about that. The Chiefs also faced the hardest postseason road to a title ever based on regular season DVOA of their opponents. The Chiefs had a 2.4% chance of winning the Super Bowl based on who they were playing. They played the best offenses and the defense stood their ground every single game. But just like every NFL season, the season comes to an end and the offseason begins, meaning there will be roster changes to every single team. This offseason is the best time for teams to prepare for their Lombardi Trophy quest and make all their roster and staff adjustments needed, preferably before the season starts. And there are a lot of upcoming free agents in the NFL offseason. The Chiefs are at a cap hit, so they're definitely not going to run it back with the same exact team. They're going to lose a handful of players, and that's what we need to focus on. But we need to also focus on who they can acquire. There are a few moves the Chiefs can do this offseason to make their three-peat chances even better. Not even including the draft. The Chiefs always do well in the draft, so I'm not worried about that. The Chiefs are known for developing younger players and setting them up for success. The last three draft classes have came up huge in these Super Bowl runs. Isaiah Pacheco is now the first running back in NFL history to go 7-0 in the playoffs with at least 75 plus yards from the line of scrimmage. George Karlaftis is another huge draft addition made by Brett Veach in the front office. He had 10.5 sacks this season, and paired up with Chris Jones, Sack Nation is in good hands with them too. He improved in every category, and I expect him to keep going up. There's going to be huge changes made to this defense, and hopefully the Chiefs can find a way to keep both Chris Jones and Snead. It seems like putting the tag on Chris Jones might not be likely since his is $32 million compared to the $19 million average. It's known Chris Jones wants to come back to Kansas City. If they could just come to a contract agreement, they could sign Jones and put the tag on Snead, who I assume wants to come back for the three-peat as well. You just hope he doesn't want to seek a higher contract elsewhere. It's much deserved, but you hope they can bring back both Snead on the tag and Chris Jones on the contract. They both can cement themselves in NFL history being the first team to three-peat. We all keep talking about the three-peat. They still have McDuffie for another few years on his rookie contract, so that's good. They don't have to worry about that now. But what they do need to do is sign a wide receiver. A lot of people are talking about how Mike Evans should go to the Chiefs, and honestly, if you asked me a few months ago, I would have agreed. But I'm going to tell you why that isn't the best option, and it shouldn't even be considered. Mike Evans is a great player, a Hall of Famer receiver, one of the most consistent receivers we've seen in NFL history, getting 1,000 yards in every single season. He's done it with a variety of quarterbacks as well. Him and Mahomes would be insane together. Like, that would be overpowered, but they can't afford him. They simply can't afford him, and it's not worth going all in for him. Mike Evans is 30 years old and he'll be 31 soon and is expecting a larger contract. The Chiefs just can't focus on that right now. Mike is a great player, but they just can't afford him. They need to give that money to Jones and Snead first. Going all in on a wide receiver like this is not a smart idea. Like I said, he's going to be 31 during the beginning of the season. Mike Evans is a great player. I would love to see him with the Chiefs, but there's so many different options. There's so many players in the draft as well that I think the Chiefs can get. The Chiefs haven't drafted a wide receiver in the first round. I think this might be the year they do. Keon Coleman is a great prospect. I expect to go late in the first round, and I think the Chiefs could pick him up. But another player the Chiefs should focus on is going to be a little lower in the market is Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley is a great deep threat. We saw him and Trevor Lawrence connecting on a lot of touchdowns this last season. Calvin Ridley finished last season with 76 receptions, 1,016 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Trevor Lawrence was also dealing with injuries as well this season. He's going to be a free agent. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs showed interest in him. Like I said, he's a good deep threat and shown when he plays he can be consistent. He would be great paired up with Rashee Rice. Mahomes will improve Ridley even more and will add to the weapons he has. That would just be another great addition to the Chiefs offense since he is another quick threat on the roster. If the Chiefs can offer him a reasonable contract, it's possible he can end up in Kansas City. Other teams might offer as well, so we'll just have to see. I think signing Ridley is a much better option than Mike Evans. If the Chiefs don't have Chris Jones, I don't believe they get the three-peat. He's probably the most underrated piece to this Chiefs dynasty. If he didn't play another snap of his career, he would still be a first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt. The Chiefs need to focus on bringing him back and putting the tag on Snead. Chris Jones is one of the most important pieces outside of Patrick Mahomes to this Chiefs run, but I see these shows and people talking about how the Chiefs need to go in for Mike Evans. I've even seen people say the Chiefs need to trade back for Tyreek Hill. None of that makes sense. The Chiefs got so much better after the Tyreek trade. In their rebuild year, they won the Super Bowl, and in their down year, they won the Super Bowl. They were able to build the defense so much more, and it showed last year, number 2 from number 11. In order for them to get this three-peat, they have to sign a solid receiver or get one in the draft at least, but they need to bring back Chris Jones. They can't trade back for Tyreek Hill. They can't go all in on a 30-year-old receiver. They need to do what they can to bring back this team that needs to win this three-peat.